here. Thanks for joining me today in the greenhouse. I know you are all so itching to get gardening and the weather has been absolutely rotten the last week or two. So I thought I'd give you just some tips on something you can be doing now if you'd like to get your hands dirty, kind of do a little bit of pre-gardening that you can keep indoors till the weather gets nicer. So today I brought with you to show you my dahlia from last year. I dug this giant tuber up last fall out of my garden. I started it from, I think it's actually this one here. I think this is the Ferncliff illusion I had in my garden outside last summer. And I dug up the tuber, stored it in my basement for the winter, and then I planted it about, judging by how much growth there is, I think it's more than 4 weeks ago, to give it a really good start before the weather gets warm enough to put it outside. Dahlias are super tender, so it's something that I'm not going to be planting outside till probably almost the 1st of June, which is part of the reason why I put it in such a big pot, because I knew it was going to need to grow inside for quite a while. And I didn't divide this tuber. So last year when I planted it, it was one bulb. Now I'm going to show you this one today. It was one bulb, and it was probably about this size, and it grew beautifully last year. So this is a Dahlia tuber, what they look like when you get them in the package. There's usually a few of these little tubers, and then you can see the plant that was cut off last year. Okay, so mine was about this size last year. Oh my goodness, when I dug it up this fall, it was massive. And I just stored it all in one piece. Like I said, I probably should have divided it, but I thought I was going to leave it to see what kind of a little experiment that made. And then I planted it, and this year I'm so excited to see how big it grows. Now, this variety that I planted is a very large variety. It's a dinner plate dahlia, which I wanted to be able to make cut flowers with, and it grows up to 52 inches tall. So it gets big, almost, how tall am I? I'm not even sure. It's not as tall as me, but it's pretty close. And the blooms are like 9 inches. They're big flowers on it. One tip for you, if you do want to grow dahlias for cutting to put in a vase, only cut them when the blooms are completely open, because they will not open in water. You know how some flowers you cut them when they're tighter and then they open eventually? Not dahlias. So I would recommend either cutting them in the cool morning or evening. If you can't get up, if you're not a morning person, cut them in the evening. Avoid cutting them in the heat of the day, because that will definitely stress them out. And again, like I said, you can't cut them and think they're going to open bigger. What you see when you cut it is what you're going to get, so keep that in mind. The other thing that you could be planting right now are canna lilies. So we have a few different kinds here. We grow them as a potted plant, and you can buy them already growing. This is one that's off of our benches. But I grow this canna lily from bulbs every year, because I dig it up in the fall, save them again in the basement in cold storage, kind of like you would save a potato or a carrot, and then I plant them. So this guy was planted about, I'm going to say 4 weeks ago, and he's just starting to sprout. Same idea. When you buy them here in a package like this, there's some different varieties here. You're going to get a tuber inside some sawdusty looking stuff, and you're just going to stick it in a pot, cover it with some soil, and away you go. Now, you can wait and do all of these things. We've got lilies, gladiolus. I would actually recommend you wait on gladiolus, but lilies or the cannas or the dahlias, you can certainly start those indoors now, and they'll be ready and kind of give them a head start. If you want to wait until the weather is warmer and plant them directly in the ground outdoors, that's fine too, but do remember they're very tender, so you're going to have to wait till there's no risk of frost. I'm just giving this guy a head start because I want to have those beautiful dahlia blooms before earlier in the summer. There's nothing wrong with waiting, but I just have to be realistic then as to when I'm going to start cutting flowers. So really that simple. Just grab a nice sized pot, probably 6 inches or so. And when you put your tuber in, just make sure that the part that was growing a plant last year is facing up, because you don't want to have it to go to all that extra work of turning itself around. You won't kill it by planting it upside down, but you're going to have a much more successful growth if you plant it right side up. You're just going to stick it in the pot and cover it up with some nice, good quality potting soil. I would recommend for anything that you're starting indoors, you need to use a nice light soil, okay? And all I'm going to do is water that in, stick it in a window, and wait for it to get warm enough to plant it outside. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, leave me a message, and I will be happy to get back to you. Have a great day.